Before visiting a new country, our family and friends will start sharing their thoughts about that particular place, according to what they have read or seen on the social media or news. But let's be honest, most of the time those statements aren't accurate at all, and the only thing they create are false stereotypes. That is why in this new episode, we would love to talk about those common stereotypes about Turkey or Turkish people. So let's see with how many of these stereotypes you have come across with. Turkey is an Arab country. Turkey is not an Arab country, and Arabic is not the language of Turkey. What Turks and Arabs have in common is that Islam is the predominant religion. In Turkey, Turks speak Turkish, which is the major member of the Turkic language within the Altaic language group. During the Ottoman Empire, they also have another language. This was like the Ottoman Turkish language, and they were using some sort of Arabic script. But after the founding of the Republic of Turkey in 1923, everything changed. Even the Arabic script was replaced by the Latin alphabet, which is the one being used nowadays. Turkey is unsafe. When it comes to this topic, I cannot deny that in the past, Turkey was pretty hard hit by terrorist attacks, especially in the main cities such as Istanbul, Ankara, and also those other cities that are close to the border with Syria. But what I can tell you for sure is that for the past years, these situations have been totally controlled. To be honest, I don't feel unsafe here. I feel really good. I feel safe, and I cannot complain. I can tell you as well that Turkish people are amazingly kind. They are warm. They will always help you at anything you need, especially in the most local areas. I mean, you will find out once you are here in Turkey, you will realize that the country is not as many times it's been trying to be shown on the media. Like it's unsafe, it's dangerous, maybe for women, but the reality is totally different. The only advice I can give you is that come to Turkey and experience the real environment this country has, and I am sure that you will love it and you will agree that Turkey is very safe. Just as in any other country or city around the world, we recommend you keeping an eye open to your surroundings because we never know what could happen. Remember that there are bad and good people all over the world. Doesn't matter if you are in the US, in the UK, in Mexico, in Turkey. Just keep an eye open. All Turkey is conservative. Yes and no. Actually, everything depends on the region you are in Turkey. What is true about this country is that it's a mixture of Eastern with Western and traditional with modern and also liberal and conservative. All depends on the region you are visiting in Turkey. Let's imagine that you're visiting Istanbul, Antalya, Ankara, or any other city in the coast area from the Aegean Sea and the Mediterranean coast. Those cities tend to be much more liberal and also modern. On the other hand, if you visit cities like Urfa, Diyarbakir, Mardin, and mostly the cities in the east part of Turkey, they tend to be more conservative and traditional. That is why I think Turkey is a fascinating country because each region will offer you something different, fascinating, and unique. And you can also have the opportunity of learning different traditions in one same place. All women must cover the hair and wear a hijab at all times. This is totally false. In reality, in Turkey, women are totally free to wear whatever they want. Also, they can decide whether they want to cover their hair with a hijab or not. In fact, when I first arrived to Turkey, one more time I proved my point on how misleading sometimes any sort of media can be. When walking on the streets, you will see both type of women, those ones who cover and those ones who don't. Locals are very respectful to one another, and in my personal experience, I have never encountered a bad situation in Istanbul or Ordu, the first city where I live in, which, by the way, was a conservative and more traditional city to live in. And I didn't experience anything bad for not covering my hair in public. Also, what I have seen in Turkish families that I have personally met or also seen outside is that, let's imagine the mother is covering the hair with a hijab, but not the daughters. So this is how also families work like. They respect one another. What is true is that every woman visiting sacred places such as mosques, we need to dress up more conservative and also cover our head with a hijab. Another tip that I would like to give you, and this is something that I personally do, when I visit more conservative neighborhoods in Istanbul or even another city in Turkey, I dress up a bit more conservative. For example, let's imagine that it is summer, then I wear long dresses or just t-shirts, at least to cover my shoulders. That way I won't make anybody feel uncomfortable. And also let's remember that when we are visiting another country that has a different culture and religion than ours, it's also very important to be respectful and behave appropriately. Turkish men can marry 2 or more women. This is another interesting thing that I have heard in many places, and a few times a few people have asked me about it. I will tell you that nowadays marrying 2 or more women for Turkish men is impossible. It's totally forbidden by law because after the Sultanate was abolished, also the polygamy was prohibited here in the country. So no, Turkish men can only have one wife. All Turkish men are machos and mistreat women. You have no idea how many times I have read and heard this statement in many Facebook groups about Turkey. I will tell you something, and I will be very direct with this. Stating something like that, I think it's kind of ignorant and narrow-minded. First of all, because we cannot generalize and put a group of people into the same bag. Or as in anywhere else in the world, there are bad and good people. This is not a problem that you can only see in a certain country or in a religion. Unfortunately, this is a problem that we can experience and see in many countries around the world. Remember that depending on how that person was educated at home, he will behave towards other people and women. So please, let's not generalize and state that all Turkish men are bad, because that's not true. Just for one person or 2 people that maybe we have met, we won't say that all of them are the same. Turkey is full of desert and have camels. Turkey definitely is not all made up of deserts. I'll put it this way. The country is divided into 7 regions: Mediterranean, Aegean, Marmara, Black Sea, Central Anatolia, Southeastern Anatolia, and Eastern Anatolia. Each one of these regions is so different from one another, and believe it or not, you will even find green mountains. For example, in the Mediterranean, Aegean, and Marmara, we will find stunning coast and beaches. When it comes to the Black Sea region, here besides a large coast, we will also find the greenest mountains ever, which by the way, this is one of my favorite regions in Turkey. The only one desert that we will be able to find in Turkey is in Karapınar, Konya, which also includes Mecca Lake, which is a crater formed from a volcanic explosion. Here we can find hills where volcanic sand dunes are peeled up, offering a very soft surface. When it comes to camels, if you were expecting to come to Turkey and see many camels around roaming free, let me tell you something, you will get disappointed because the only camels you will be able to see around are the ones used for photographs in touristic places such as Cappadocia. Just as an interesting fact, I want to share this information with you. And in Turkey, there is a special activity where they use camels, and this kind of sport is called camel wrestling. It is said that the first camel wrestling competition was held in a very small village in Aydın province about 2 centuries ago. Today, the camel wrestling can be seen mainly in Aydın. Also, it can be found in Muğla, in Manisa, in Denizli, and some other cities of the Aegean region. These contests are mainly held during the winter period, especially from December, January, February, and March. Turkish food is only baklava and kebab. I'm pretty sure that as soon as you hear this phrase, Turkish food, the first things coming to your mind are the baklava and kebab. It is true that two of the most famous dishes of Turkish cuisine is kebab and baklava. But the reality of its gastronomy is totally different because there are so many other dishes and this Turkish food is so vast that even it's impossible to get to know each one of them in a few months here in Turkey. Let's remember that Turkey has 7 different regions. Each one of them also offers different and unique dishes. And most of them are also made with unique ingredients that can also be found only in that region. And each one of them are representing them. As such, the richness of the Turkish kitchen is undeniable. Every man in Turkey is wearing a fez. First of all, let's define what a fez is. A fez was a man's headwear that varied in shape, color, tassels, and ways of wearing, and were available in different styles. It originated in Morocco, and later on it became a very popular accessory for men during the Ottoman Empire in the 19th century. However, during the reforms adopted in 1925, a few years after the founding of the Republic of Turkey and Sultanate was abolished, also the wearing of fez was forbidden, that even penalties were imposed to those men opposing the new law. That being said, you will never find a man walking on the street and wearing the fez. The only place you will see them will be in souvenir shops, and because nowadays this is one of the most popular souvenirs in Turkey. Also, you will be able to find them when you are seeing a man selling their ice creams and doing this show, especially in the touristic areas. They will be wearing a fez and some sort of traditional clothing. These were some of the most common stereotypes that we have come across. But if you have some others that we couldn't cover in this video, and also you're a Turkish person and would like to share your experience, we would love to read them in comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe. That way also you can receive more content like this one. See you next time. Bye-bye. It is true that two of the most world...